Hey guys, I'm the Maha Mechanic, and today we're going to be doing part 3 of how to replace a head gasket, or the first part in installation of the head gasket on this Porsche 944. So let's get into it. I've also scuffed up the mating surface for the head gasket, and now it is time to install our new head gasket. So to do that, let's set our engine to top dead center. This piston is going to be pretty much flush with the cylinder wall, I should say. So keep cranking until that happens. So right about there, we can check our top dead center mark here. So as you can see there, you can kind of see right there. You can see I got it lined up. Sorry, my hand's shaking. Guess and check method. I didn't have anyone to do it this time, so all right, now we got it all lined up. I'm gonna wipe out those two cylinders because there's still some gunk in there. And then we can reinstall our head gasket and cylinder head. So as you can see here, here's our cylinder head. Got it back from getting machined not too long ago. Very, very nice looking. Very shiny. And anyway, I got new valve springs, the ones from the turbo model, and new valve stem seals. Got those put in. And now it's ready to go back on the car. So let's get our head gasket, put it back on, put all our seals on that we need to put on. I don't think we need to put any more seals besides the head gasket until we get the cylinder head on. But yeah, let's do that now. So if we look on the head gasket here, you can see that there's some words, letters, and whatnot on this side, but not on this side. Ignore that it says turbo. It's just, it's the same. So basically we're going to line up this corner right here with that water area. So there it is, nice and installed. You can see this little spot right here. They have little bumps. There's one there and there's one all in the back over there. You can't really see, but you want to make sure that the gasket goes through those because that's what lines it up pretty much. So once you're positive those things are lined up, we can take our cylinder head and throw it back on. So I'm just going to wipe mine down with some brake clean because it's been sitting for a little bit. Yep. And then plop it back on there. Okay. I was hitting the stud on my header. So if we come look at the factory shop manuals, you can see our head has to be torqued down in a specific order to make sure it's all flat and nothing cracks and stuff, just like our oil pan if you've seen that video. So we're going to start the middle, bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, and kind of just work our way kind of like an X motion and tighten those down. It says tightening, we're doing 3 steps to look at the figure. So if we see here, this is 13, so we go to 13, and our instructions say to give threads a light coat of oil, so I'll just put some motor oil on there. Also says here, never use lubricant for the installation of cylinder head nuts and washers. Only give the threads of the studs a light coat of engine oil. Washers must not turn when tightening the cylinder head nuts. So make sure the washers don't turn because it can throw off that specific torque value. You can make a pink mark on it to make sure it doesn't turn. So we're going to be using the same washers and nuts. So we're going to want to roughen the bearing surface facing the cylinder with coarse sandpaper. So we'll just rough the bottoms of those up with sandpaper. The rounded side goes up and the flatter side goes down towards the cylinder head. And so I just scuffed them all up with some coarse, I believe this is 120 grit sandpaper. Just like the shop manual told me to do. It just said coarse sandpaper, so I figured coarse is around 100 grit. So now we can put these on the cylinder head. These ones go, I don't know if it really matters, but these ones I took off. They were where the valve springs were, so they were coated in oil and stuff. These ones were on the outside, so I'm going to keep them that way. Anyway, so let's put these back on the car. So I also just marked all of them with Sharpie because when you're tightening them down, you can't have the washers move because that'll throw off the torque reading. So the owner's manual, or the shop manual, I should say, the shop manual told me to put a paint line on it just as a control to make it sure that it doesn't move. So I figured I'll do it. The heck. And so yeah, I'm gonna put all of them. Put all of them probably up, and then just make sure that they don't move. So now, let's get them all back on the car. So, don't forget to just add a light coating of motor oil to the threads like the shop manual tells you to. Now we can reinstall our nuts. Alright, now that I got them finger tight, we can start our torquing sequence, starting from here, 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 I don't know. I'll have to look at it again, but we can start our torque sequence now. So here are the specific torque specs. This is on Clark's Garage if you guys are going to look for it. It's got the configuration and the torque specs for all of the cylinder heads for all the years of the 944. But the ones we're going to be doing is the 83 to 85.5, since that's where 84 is. And our first step is going to be 20 newton meters or 15 foot-pounds. So torque it down in this pattern and make sure the washers don't move, and torque them down to 15 foot-pounds. You're going to wait 15 minutes between the torque sequences. This will allow the studs to stretch, just so that you can be sure that it's pressed on there nicely. So let's torque it down to 15 foot-pounds. There we go. Now we're gonna wait 15 minutes to allow the studs to stretch. So I'm gonna snap to when 15 minutes is done. There we go. Now we can torque down our nuts to 37 foot-pounds in the same order as we torqued them down before. Now it's time to do 66 foot-pounds. I just waited 15 minutes. 66 foot-pounds. This one's going to be a doozy. There we go. That's good. Our head is now reinstalled. Now we can reinstall our headers or exhaust manifold in probably your case. I'm getting all new studs for these since some of them are pretty gummed up. It'll make it easier just to do that. But we need to put the gaskets on there first. So let's do that now. I also noticed that you should have reinstalled this front flange for the coolant hose. I believe there's a gasket in the Victor Rhine set for that. And these are actually gonna go letters up, just like on the head gasket. Letters up, so just like that. This one's for the rear, so let's go install the rear one real quick. So it's actually good that we're doing this because there wasn't any gaskets for the coolant flanges at all, apparently. So yeah, let's get it installed. I'll cut back to when I actually have it get tightened down. So, I mean, I didn't really film it because I needed to be where the camera is to film it. But I got those reinstalled. Now we can do our front flange. So, plop this bad boy on there like that. Now there's no really specific torque spec for these, maybe 15 foot-pounds, but just torque them down till they're snug, and don't over torque them because then you're going to strip the threads. So, you know, just do it till they're snug. I'm just going to give it a little tap of this. There we go. I say that's enough. We're gonna reinstall our exhaust manifold next. So this is what I'm doing to get them off. I'm jamming two nuts together. And then once I get them tight enough together, I can do this and just remove them. You can see there the stud's moving. So I'll get those taken off. I'm going to leave probably two on there, start threading in my new ones, and then remove the old ones just so that I can have them lined up and everything, make it easier on myself. Alright, so as you can see here, I've got the gasket, the metal gaskets on them. I've also got all the studs in and new nuts and washers threaded on there. And now I'm just gonna push it up and then start tightening her down. There we go. We got it all tightened down. There wasn't really any way I can get a torque wrench on there, but I used my brain to kind of eyeball maybe 15 foot-pounds. Now that we got our lifters primed, we can throw them in the cam housing. I'm going to reinstall this bolt for the distributor rotor connection here to the camshaft. I picked up a new bolt. This was the old one, which was definitely not stock. Found it online and picked it up. It is looking like it's going to be a 7mm. This gets torqued down to about 2 foot-pounds or 4 Newton meters. So I'm just going to snug it up, and that should be good. All right, now that we got that snugged down, we can flip it over and start shoving our lifters in there. And I did put the assembly lube in the fridge so that it'll be cold and more viscous when I try to reinstall it, so the lifters won't just fall out when I am trying to put it on top of the cylinder head, because we're going to go from this and we're going to have to lift them, or basically put it at a 45-degree angle. I don't want those sliding out, just to make my life easier. So we're going to put them in with some cold assembly lube so that they won't slide out. All right, well, apparently it wasn't recording, but I got them all lubed up and pushed in there. I forgot to set it to top dead center. So we'll go ahead and do that now. So there's 2 lifters up at top dead center. The intake on number 2, or no, the exhaust on number 2 and the intake on number 3. So a rag and clean up this mating surface. That should be good. And now we can plop it on the car. So now that I got my pins in and everything, the gasket has been put on, as you can see. Just like everything else, the letters go face up. Now we can put on our cam housing again. So I kind of got it resting on those alignment pins. I'm going to put in the bolts on the top first. Remember, they're 6mm Allen screws. So I'll get that one a little bit threaded in, and then I'll go to the back one and do that one. All right, so now that I got the top ones tightened down close to where the lifters and the valve springs are compressed a little bit, got it close to flush on the cylinder head, I'm going to start doing the bottom ones and then torquing them down in sequence. I don't know if there's a sequence for this. I will look it up in my shop manual real fast, and I'll let you guys know. So I've gotten all of the bolts on and snugged up. Tighten down just a little bit. I wasn't able to find any torque sequences for this. So what I'm going to do is these top 2 here, then the bottom one here, and then the bottom 2 here, 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 here. So, just try to do it as even and symmetrical as possible. That's what I'm gonna do. And these will get torqued down to 20 Newton meters or 15 foot-pounds. There we go. We got our cam housing reinstalled. And now it's time to put in our little caps on the top, and I believe those get torqued down to somewhere around 25, 26 foot-pounds. The washers come in the Victor Rines kit, so if you have them in there and you're curious on what these little metal things were, little metal washers in there, they're in the bag with the intake manifold gaskets. These go on here because there's 6 of them and 6 plugs. So These will get torqued down to 28 foot-pounds. Well, now we can put all the belts back on and go from there. And that's where I'm going to leave it for this video. So if you found it informative, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more. And remember, no matter your experience or your skill level, keep on improving.